Massive rug pull for real estate investors. Hey everybody, Scott Walters, buckle up, strap in. We got a hard-hitting pull, no punches, no sugarcoating, no rainbows, no sunshine. Just going to give it to you and give it to you straight. We got a good one to unpackage today. I try not to laugh at this stuff because it's a built-in self-defense mechanism to wrap my head around the magnitude, the severity of what we get to unpackage today. Insane. Welcome to the show. So the reality is this: we saw a lot of investor involvement. It always happens anytime we get into a bubble, an asset bubble. In this case, the real estate market exhibited bubble behavior once again, artificially induced, no organic growth. It was all stimulus. Insane. And if anybody is telling you, oh, this time is different, supply and demand and low. Okay, we'll see. I'm pretty sure I've heard that before in previous bubbles. It's always something different too. I've always said that, here at the show. 2008, this time is different. Well, yeah, of course it's different. It's always going to be something different. But in my opinion, the only thing that's different, and this one's worse. I lived through the last one, suffered a little blowback. Was economic headwinds, ninja loans, subprime work, whatever you want to pin on it. Doesn't matter. This one is worse. Why? Because we dumped way more money into this bubble. Bigger bubble, bigger blowback. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure this one out. So today I want to continue to hopefully educate ourselves as we move forward through the biggest bubble ever induced in world history to see if it can sustain itself or not. That's the million-dollar question. Some areas are going to be able to probably sustain it, but I suspect a lot will not, if not most. This has got crash risk written all over it. So the percentage of likelihood is clearly high. Anybody telling you no crash risk here, probably a salesperson that needs to sell you something because they can't keep up with their own bills or they need to look good on TikTok as they're selling homes, making a big joke out of your biggest purchase you're ever going to make. Not here, and not this guy. And although I've been there, and there's a time for humor, and I try to be, as humorous as possible. You never want to take yourself so serious. Besides, nobody wants to watch a channel. It's like watching paint dry. You might not love me, but I'm always going to give it to you and give it to you straight. Love or hate me, that's just the way it's going to go with the channel, right? Always going to be yourself. Always be yourself, no matter what, right? You just be authentic. Whew, insane. But today we're going to take a look at what's happening to many investors that bought in the bubble. They bought in the bubble and they had these flippers. Flippers always pour in to anytime there's a real estate bubble. Well, they're all being pulled out. And here's the challenge. As a licensed real estate agent, I saw the madness unfold firsthand. I worked with a lot of you. I've worked in my own backyard. I've seen this thing. I'm a boots on the ground real estate professional. I own real estate, commercial and residential. I've always said, find out who your competition is and beat them. Even with your rental properties, we see a lot of people coming on the market with their rentals with these projected earnings based on bubble behavior. And now they can't get those rents anymore. And so their profit margins are shrinking. Loans are needing to be adjusted. A lot of things. Throw that dart at an economic challenge map. You're hitting something threatening this one. I think everybody wants to rely on them because of the lack of, we have a real big lack of supply. We're in a landlock right now, but there will be a catalyst that's going to deliver inventory. And one of those catalysts are investor involvement. Early on the channel, we used to hear a lot like, Scott, all the investors are buying everything up. You're right. They were buying it all up, but now they're in trouble. They're in trouble. And because they're unemotional when it comes to dumping homes, see, you'll hang on to the home. If I sell you your home, your first home, your primary residence, I've been in those shoes before. In 2008, I bought a house and went upside down. And I was like, oh, I'll lose it. It's my house. Kids are in the schools. We made friends. I get it. It's just the nature of the beast. But when you're an investor, dumping homes, handing keys back to the bank, putting them under the doormat and walking away. That's what happens. That's what happens when a bubble pops, my friends. Buckle up and strap in. Anybody telling you that time can't happen this time? Oh, yeah, it will. It will happen. It just now becomes at what level? Will it be crisis levels like we saw with the foreclosure crisis? Maybe. Stay tuned as we unpackage it. But today we had somebody send in, a lot of you are monitoring prices wherever you're monitoring your backyards, most likely. And you can't wrap your head around, going and buying in that environment. Most people can't. And I've always explained where there's going to be safety in real estate. Affordable housing will always be needed. So if you're within the median home price national average, maybe you're going to behave a little differently than places that are like a couple $1 million for a cracker box. That's just fundamentals aren't there. We saw California crash in the last crash in spectacular fashion. Even these $1 million listings where I'm sitting today in these coastal communities in paradise might have been the last to get hit, maybe even the first to rebound. But they got hit too. They joined the party. It's not a blanket wave that just operates in one speed. It's all migrates all over. Real estate's local. But the realities are this, friends. We're going to take a look at a property today. One of you sent it in, and they're like, hey, check this one out, Scott. This is in my backyard. What do you make of this? And so I want to use this opportunity to examine what investors are up against, what they were thinking, how the rug pull occurred, how if you're even looking at houses, whether it's your primary home or investment property, or you just enjoy monitoring the biggest asset class in the world because you know if we lose it, we lose everything, and we're thrusted into a minimum, a recession, and depression is clearly on the table. If that's you, you might enjoy the way I typically look at these properties. So let's jump over to today's featured property. Then we'll meet back here and wrap this one up. Let's get started. All right, buckle up and strap in. Our savvy subscriber writes in, this is a good one. Been trying to buy in this area for years, but this is crazy. What do you think of this home? Well, let's jump on over and take a look. All right, let's go ahead and take a little peek around. And here you go, a smaller, older home that an investor had bought and tried to give it a quick little remodel and get it right back on the market. As we can see, it's got low ceilings, dated, old construction that somebody gave a lipstick remodel. Now let's go ahead and jump into some of the property description and the numbers. Strike 2, it says this property retains the charm of an older home because it is, but combined with desirable modern features, a lipstick remodel. Now, let's go ahead and read a little more. Wait, it's a mile long, a novel, a desperation description. Now, let's go ahead and get into some of its numbers. Today's property has an estimated mid-range value of $416,000 in a declining market. Now, let's see where they're priced at. They're priced at $424,000, way above its mid-range value, and they bought it over a half a year ago at around $200,000, got stuck remodeling it, came back onto the market, and now can't get it sold. Now let's get into the nitty gritty and see how our property pencils out. If we were silly enough to give them their inflated asking price, our approximate cost to carry at today's interest rate with a standard amount down would be over $2,500 a month. Strike 3 and possibly the knockout blow. We have an estimated rent range of around $1,600 a month in a declining rental market. This one's got problems written all over it. Let's get back to the studio so we can wrap this one up. All right, friends, welcome back. There you go. So investor bought the home. They did a lipstick remodel. They put lipstick on a pig. Let's not sugarcoat it. That house, for me, I wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole. It was an old, dilapidated house. The outside still looks rough. The inside, they sprinkled some paint and flooring, some recessed lighting, and did what they can to try to create something in there. But the realities are this. They got greedy. They think they're going to get a big return on their investment. They will need a complete 100% bona fide sucker. Why? Because the house doesn't pencil out. I'm not touching it. I'm not letting you touch it. If you're considering, if you're my subscriber that sent that in, don't touch the house. Why? Because if you want to know the true value of a home, you have to see, even if it's not a rental, what its rent range is. If it's going to cost you more to own that home, your cost to carry is above its rent range, you don't own it. It owns you. And if you ever want to actually become a success where 95% of all millionaires made their money, it's buy and hold, not buy and flip and sell. Real estate's designed to be held. So if you're holding real estate, but your cost to carry it is above its rent range, even if it's your primary home, that's bad. That's bad. I don't want any of you doing that. I don't care if it's the first home, your last home, your forever home. I don't care. You always want to make sure if you're carrying a property, its cost to carry the home is below its rent range. That's the only insurance policy you can pull for yourself in the biggest bubble ever produced in world history. In final thoughts, I come to you as a friend, as a content creator. Somebody wants to see not only win in real estate, win in life. Understand the biggest artificially induced housing bubble ever witnessed in human history might have crash risk. When you see homes like this, investors pouring in thinking some sucker was going to buy it, they're in trouble. These are millions of these out there, millions of properties just like the ones we looked at today. The supply is coming, my friends. The supply is coming. That's the only thing data chasers are able to tell you right now, is the lack of supply will keep demand high. And that is true until the supply comes. But we're just getting started. Tail end of a crisis, tail end of a stimulus era, front end of a recession. Inflation's sticky. A lot of the data points are showing us U.S. savings rate all-time low, U.S. debt all-time high. That's a recipe for disaster. My advice, and I never suggest anybody do anything that I'm not doing or willing to do myself, proceed with caution. Be a level-headed realist. It's better to be prepared for something and have it not happen than have something happen and not be prepared. If you halfway expect this, you're going to be able to operate within it much more efficiently. In the meantime, I'm going to continue to blow the lid off it every step of the way, because it's not only what we need, it's in fact what we deserve. If you appreciate the content, I want to humbly ask you to give the video a like, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment below. I'd love to hear from you. Social media links in the description of this video if you'd like to contact me there, along with links to channels I've appeared on I think you might enjoy. If you need help buying or selling real estate here in America, I have the biggest network of top-rated agents in the nation ready to assist you. It'd be our honor and our privilege to do so. Email in the description for you as well. Also, if you're watching from your television set today and you enjoyed this video, gonna love the next video, and there's an easy subscribe icon for your convenience. As always, thank you for your time. Please go make it count today, and I'll see you on the next video.